Last night, Gran Turismo 7 was revealed to us for the very first time, and I am super excited. The whole community is talking nothing but Gran Turismo. Maybe a little bit of Ratchet and Clank, because I do have a soft spot for that, but Gran Turismo 7. Now, very clearly, very first thing that you're going to notice about this, avid fans will see that the game, of course, looks beautiful. It's running on the PlayStation 5. It's being improved upon of what GT Sport was. This generation is going to be not much of a major leap in terms of visual fidelity because we're already at the wall. It's more going to be the lighting, as you can probably see. The lighting and the like is very much more detailed. And the filtering, it's going to be loading fast, everything. Anyway, the track you are seeing is Trial Mountain. This is one of the most iconic Gran Turismo tracks that there ever has been and ever possibly will be. If you're a Forza person, it's kind of like having Fujimi return. It's incredible, and it's what we wanted hugely. If you've played Gran Turismo before, you've played this track. It's just, you just have. Now, in this game, there's going to be a fully fledged career mode, which is nice because the previous game didn't really have that. They updated and added single-player races to the base game, but they didn't really ever get to a point where it was a proper single-player experience. GT Sport is very much just trying to be mostly an online game, and with GT7, they're thinking, yeah, we're going to go back. We're going to get it sorted. That's something super cool that I definitely want to point out. Car modification is back as it used to be in the previous Gran Turismo game. So it's not going to be just like the upping of the distance you travel and stuff. Basically, you can throw in exhausts and all those bits and ECUs and everything old Gran Turismo style. GT Town, you may recognize this as well. This type of menu system was in a bunch of other Gran Turismo games, and it has a whole slew of returning features from GT Sport. For example, we've got the Scapes in there, and we've got Brand Central, and all those things. But we have GT Cafe, which we don't actually know what that is. And one other very important thing returning that I have noticed, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you have noticed as well, the used car dealership. Now, of course, the used car dealership is not really going to be like it was in the old games. It's just not. What they're going to do is basically it's going to have lower end cars that you wouldn't necessarily buy new, and you can have to fix them up a little bit, upgrade them, tune them, get them on cheap. That sort of experience again is coming back to Gran Turismo. And you know what? I am hoping, there's a slight hope in me that thinks that maybe if people sell their cars, they can sell them on the used market. Kind of be like Forza, for example. You know, Forza has a very similar system to that with the auction, and I would adore something like this. Now, there also seems to be a new feature in here, which actually is not really new feature, it's more returning. GT Auto is the place where you're going to be washing your car, changing the oil, and bits like that. I am happy, beyond happy, that this is returning. Buying a car from the used marketplace, taking it, washing it, changing the oil, then starting to the upgrades. It just felt like such a complete experience. Also, in the performance upgrades menus, you'll actually see that there are different categories in terms of upgrades. So you get entry, city, sports, racing, and extreme, and all these bits level up depending on obviously what stage you go for. And as you upgrade your car, it's going to go up performance levels, performance points, I should add. Just like the previous Gran Turismo's performance points are back again. They're keeping similar systems from GT Sport, but also combining them with the old style systems, the performance points rating, which is nice because I feel like that was for an unqualified pro racer, it's just a nice number to follow. We got our first look at a couple of new cars, including the BAC Mono, the Porsche 917K, and the Porsche Carrera GT coming to the game, which is very cool. If you didn't know, they've been releasing new cars for Gran Turismo Sport over its life cycle. And of course, during the development of these new cars, which were realistic primarily for the new Gran Turismo 7, there were some set aside and sold as DLC. That's generally how these manufacturers do it. Developers, why don't I say manufacturers? Tracks from GT Sport are clearly going to be returning. If you want a full list of that, there'll be a link down below in the description to our article in where we list and detail a lot of those bits, but there are some new tracks to mention, including let me just definitely not read this list on my screen. Northern Isle Speedway, Blue Moon Bay Speedway, Willow Springs, and Daytona were visible in the GT World menu. This GT World thing, man, this GT World thing, I am very much looking forward to just everything coming back to this game. There's a whole bunch of things that I've wanted for Gran Turismo Sport, Gran Turismo, again, because when it comes down to it, the reason I love Gran Turismo so much, and why it's easily the top tier console racer in terms of track racer. It's accessible, okay? It's passable as realistic. It's quite real in the feel. The sounds now are really good. The visuals, of course, they had everything on that on lock, which is great. That's what GT Sport tried to achieve. It's building it from scratch. But of course, some features didn't make it into the series. One of the huge things for me was the used car dealership, and that is back. The career mode, that is back. We're going back to the numbered structure, which is just, it's a nice refreshing feeling. Of course, there's still surely going to be the online segment. There's a multiplayer option on the home screen too, but there also is the GT Cafe, which we're not exactly sure what that is. The cafe may possibly be play on the lobby systems already in the game, which is second to none. I can assure you, the lobby system on Gran Turismo Sport even, jump onto that online list and you will see mass amounts of lobbies that you can jump in and play. Huge amounts. You can find people drifting, you can find people drag racing, you can find people just playing with random cars that they built or actually racing. It's such a great community to jump into. I think the only thing that really compares, it does better but sometimes worse, I would say is Assetto Corsa, and the fact that you can mod and everything. You go to these lobbies, and of course if you want a more extreme racing feel, you have to go to Assetto Corsa. Gran Turismo, I feel like it's possible with Sport, but will it be possible in 7? There's a few questions there of, will the competitive nature of GT Sport carry through? Of course, there's a whole bunch of cars I would love to list to say what I would love to see. I need this car, this track, this thing, but mate, I saw them put an exhaust on a GT86 and I was happy. Another thing I would love to see return, possibly in the base game, but if not, I would be happy to see it come in some updates, is I would love the auto sculpt to return. So if you didn't know, in GT5 or 6, I think it might have been GT5, you had the ability to pick some parts like a spoiler and choose how wide it was and how tall it was. You could customize parts a la Need for Speed Carbon, which was awesome because that's such a nice little tiny thing that you can change. It realistically might not change too much, but in terms of being like, I chose and sculpted that, it was fantastic. I hope that they keep the focus of the competitive nature of Gran Turismo in check. That's something they definitely need to focus, because they've built up such a cool, amazing thing with GT Sport. I hope that they continue that on with GT7. But carrying on from that, I also hope they bring back the one of the focuses of being in single player. Now that they've got that on lock, bring some focus back to the single player, the core experience of me and me uncles. I have uncles. They go, you know what? You jumping on Gran Turismo? And I'm like, yes, let's jump on Gran Turismo. They haven't done that with Sport, but now I feel like they're gonna be like, yo, Theo, we're gonna play some GT. And I'm like, I know, I've built some whips, I'm ready to take you on. So that was our first look at Gran Turismo 7. I would love to know your thoughts. Of course, the discussion is always ongoing down below in the comments. I'm going to be obviously covering everything PS5 Gran Turismo racing oriented as possible. Of course, the Xbox event is coming out soon, so we will get an eye on what Motorsport 8 is actually going to be like, which is going to be the direct competitor to Gran Turismo 7. So which side are you on as of current? Are you on the side of Motorsport, or are you on the side of Gran Turismo? Of course, we don't know anything about one of them yet, and we know some about the other. Well, I think Xbox's event is about a month away, so we shall see. And of course, you're in the right place for everything racing gaming. Now, there is some extra details coming out about Need for Speed, hopefully in the next week from EA Play. So again, you're in the right place. Something that I will say is that I kind of wish there was a more Drive Club-esque feel to the game. Now, I know, obviously, Drive Club didn't really succeed in what it aimed to do, except later on in its life cycle, but by that time, the developers were closed and everything. Evolution Studios is gone. Now, it would have been nice to see some more Drive Club elements, at least some of the best elements of Drive Club picked into this game. The club aspect and stuff, for example, I would hope that maybe we can get something like that going, but nonetheless, I do wish also that Sony would have considered keeping Evolution Studios as a secondary studio and having Gran Turismo, the track racing game, and then Drive Club be the open world exploration Horizon style game, because they could have smashed it out the park with a combo like that, sharing car models and the like they do in the Forza and Forza Horizon thing. I think that would have been cool. It's interesting. But of course, if you do want a Drive Club-esque game, the best way to go is where the developers are currently making Dirt 5. Yes, the developers, most of them, have carried on and are moving on with Dirt 5, which hopefully we'll get to playing soon too. I want to get my hands on. Thanks so much for watching this video, my friends. Be sure to smash that like button. List your thoughts down below. Join in conversations. Join me on Twitter. Mate, there was a lot of stuff going on Twitter. It's alright. Be sure to smash that subscribe if you know. I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, peace.